Several new developments in South Suburban Dalton today. First, the state comptroller has suspended some payments to the village because it has failed to follow the law by providing financial reports. You could feel the anger tonight at a Board of Trustees meeting in Thornton Township. The board and citizens looking for accountability to their finances while they
get ready for a story that will leave you questioning everything. Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, is back in the headlines. But this time, it's not for her public service. Despite earning a six-figure salary, reportedly around $300,000 a year, Henyard is now facing eviction for failing to pay her rent, and she's months behind on her payments. How is this possible for someone in her position? With a salary like hers, paying rent should never be a concern. As the story unfolds, however, it becomes clear that there's much more to the situation than meets the eye, and it's quickly spiraling into an even bigger mess. Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, is facing a situation that has left many questioning her financial management. Recent reports reveal that Henyard is 3 months behind on rent, but here's the kicker. The rent in question is only about $1,100 a month. While still a significant amount, it's hardly the kind of payment that should be a problem for someone earning an annual salary of approximately $300,000. After all, many people would consider this a dream salary, so how could someone in her position fall behind on such a modest payment? This unexpected financial slip has left many puzzled, and now the questions are piling up. To make matters even more complicated, Henyard isn't the only name on the lease. Kamal Woods, an associate of Henyard, is also tied to the property, adding another layer of intrigue to the situation. What's really going on here? Is there something shady happening behind the scenes? Or is there more to this story than meets the eye? The drama escalated when, on September 18th, an official eviction notice was filed for Henyard and Woods, demanding they vacate the property within 5 days. The amount owed in back rent, approximately $3,350. Naturally, Henyard's lawyer quickly intervened, claiming the eviction was based on false pretenses. But what does that actually mean? Is Henyard asserting that she never signed the lease? Or is she arguing that she already paid the rent, and this is all just a misunderstanding? The confusion only adds more fuel to the fire. But there's yet another layer to this saga. It turns out there's an ongoing investigation into Henyard's financial practices and spending habits. For some, this eviction is just the latest chapter in a long history of controversies surrounding her. This isn't the first time Henyard has made headlines for questionable reasons. Critics have long accused her of using taxpayer money for personal luxuries, including lavish trips to Las Vegas, renting expensive vehicles, and throwing extravagant street parties, all while racking up tens of thousands of dollars in expenses. Just last month, she hosted another street party in Dalton, which only fueled the criticism that she's recklessly mismanaging public funds. As questions about Henyard's financial behavior continue to mount, many are beginning to wonder if there's a deeper issue at play. After all, someone who's used to managing the finances of an entire village and earning a six-figure salary shouldn't forget to pay rent for 3 months. So what's really going on behind the scenes? Some speculate that this could be a deliberate move on Henyard's part to play the victim, positioning herself as so financially strapped that she can't even afford her rent. While this may sound far-fetched, given her track record, it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility. Henyard's legal history also raises concerns. Public records show dozens of lawsuits either pending or recently resolved, many of which aren't even related to her role as a public official. Some of these legal troubles date back to 2012 and involve personal debts and bank loans, painting a troubling picture of someone who's been grappling with financial issues for years. And of course, The most recent legal headache is the current eviction case, adding yet another layer to her already complex financial and legal troubles. But what makes this situation even more intriguing are rumours swirling about whether Henyard even lives at the property from which she's being evicted. Some insiders are calling it a trap house, not in the sense used in the music world, but in a way that suggests possible illegal activity tied to the property. Even more suspicious is the fact that Henyard and Woods have reportedly refused to allow the property owner to conduct inspections, even though a lease agreement likely includes a clause allowing for this. Why would they refuse an inspection? Are they trying to hide something? The longer this situation drags on, the more questions arise, and the more suspicious the whole thing seems. Given Henyard's history of controversy, it's easy to see why many are skeptical of her financial and legal dealings. Could this be the beginning of a much larger scandal, or just another chapter in a politician's career marked by red flags and questionable behaviour? As Henyard continues to remain in the public eye, more questions emerge with each passing day. Will she be able to clear her name? Or will this eviction and the surrounding drama finally unravel her political career? Only time will tell. But one thing is for certain: the story surrounding Tiffany Henyard is far from over, and the fallout from her financial and legal troubles is bound to continue for the foreseeable future. Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, is at the center of an escalating financial scandal that's rapidly growing from a case of unpaid rent to accusations of widespread financial misconduct. Henyard's handling of both her personal and public finances, or lack thereof, has sparked a firestorm of controversy, threatening to become one of the most scandalous chapters of her time in office. At the heart of the drama is Henyard's apparent failure or unwillingness to meet basic financial obligations, including paying her rent. Reports have surfaced that Henyard is months behind on payments for a property she is believed to reside in, with monthly rent set at a modest $1,100. Given her reported six-figure salary, rumoured to be around $300,000 a year, this oversight is especially glaring. How could a public official with such a substantial income fall behind on something as basic as rent? But the story doesn't end there. Henyard isn't the only name on the lease for the property in question. Colonel Woods, a close associate of Henyard, is also reportedly listed. This raises more questions. Is this a simple misunderstanding, or is there something more sinister at play? Speculation is rife, with some wondering whether a subletting arrangement has gone wrong, or if there is a deeper financial web being spun behind the scenes. On September 18th, an official eviction notice was filed, giving Henyard and Woods just 5 days to vacate the property. The back rent owed amounts to approximately $3,350. In response, Henyard's lawyer quickly intervened, claiming the eviction was based on false pretenses. But what does that mean? Is Henyard claiming she never signed the lease? Or is she suggesting that the rent was paid but lost due to a bureaucratic error? These unanswered questions only fuel the growing suspicion surrounding the situation, leaving the public in disbelief. This debacle appears to be just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Henyard's financial troubles. Investigations into Dalton's finances, including Henyard's role in managing public funds, have uncovered disturbing patterns of financial mismanagement. Allegations suggest that Henyard's inability to manage her personal finances could be a symptom of much larger problems. She has been accused of using taxpayer money for personal luxuries, such as lavish trips to Las Vegas, renting luxury cars, and throwing extravagant street parties, all while reportedly spending tens of thousands of dollars. Just last month, Henyard threw another large street party in Dalton, further cementing her reputation for recklessly managing public funds. However, The issue goes beyond her personal spending habits. Henyard's financial recklessness appears to be bleeding into her professional responsibilities as well. Reports have surfaced that public grants, especially those designated for youth projects, have been mishandled under her watch. A Freedom of Information Act request revealed troubling discrepancies in the handling of one such grant project, which was overseen by Kamal Woods, Henyard's close associate. Even more concerning are reports that payments were made to individuals and organizations with questionable backgrounds. For example, Anthony Butler allegedly received over $66,000, with no clear explanation of why the funds were allocated. This is just one of many payments that have raised serious red flags about how public funds are being managed. These financial irregularities have sparked concerns that Henyard's issues go beyond her personal spending habits, extending into her role as mayor, where she is responsible for overseeing taxpayer money. The scandal has prompted local officials, including the trustees of Dalton, to seek legal counsel on how to proceed. Several trustees have expressed shock and concern over the situation and are now consulting with legal experts to determine the best course of action. With multiple investigations underway and accusations of financial mismanagement mounting, the pressure on Henyard is intensifying. In response, she has claimed through her lawyer that the accusations are part of a smear campaign orchestrated by political enemies. According to Henyard, she is being unfairly attacked by corrupt board trustees who seek to undermine her leadership and subvert the will of the people. She has even suggested that these efforts are part of a larger conspiracy to discredit her and remove her from office. However, with mounting evidence of financial mismanagement, legal troubles, and growing public dissatisfaction, Henyard's attempts to portray herself as a victim are becoming less convincing. Her actions, both personal and professional, seem to be at the heart of a growing storm that could very well threaten her political future. As investigations into her financial dealings and ongoing legal battles unfold, the people of Dalton and local officials are left grappling with the fallout from Henyard's increasingly questionable leadership. Can she clear her name, or will this controversy serve as the catalyst for her political downfall? The public is watching closely, and the stakes for Henyard's career in Dalton have never been higher.
Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dalton, Illinois, finds herself at the center of a rapidly escalating scandal. It's not just the unpaid rent or questionable grant expenditures making headlines anymore. Henyard is now under the scrutiny of federal investigators. The FBI is reportedly looking into allegations of misuse of taxpayer money, particularly claims that she has diverted public funds for personal gain, especially in the area of security costs. According to reports, Henyard's security detail has cost the town hundreds of thousands of dollars in overtime, raising serious questions about how public resources are being allocated and whether her priorities align with the responsibilities of her position. What's even more troubling is that some of this security spending allegedly occurred while Henyard was out of town, including during personal trips. This adds another layer of suspicion to her already controversial financial behavior. When you're already under investigation for questionable financial practices, using taxpayer money for first-class flights during personal business hardly portrays a responsible leader. Henyard's lavish spending habits, including using public funds for personal luxuries and extravagant trips to places like Las Vegas, have only fueled criticism that she is reckless and irresponsible with taxpayer money. But it's not just her personal spending that's raising red flags. Henyard is also facing serious accusations regarding the mishandling of public grants. Reports suggest that funds designated for youth projects were improperly managed under her watch. A Freedom of Information Act request revealed troubling payments, including one for over $66,000 to an individual named Anthony Butler, with no clear justification for the expense. These financial irregularities have prompted concerns that Henyard's issues extend far beyond personal indulgences and into the mismanagement of taxpayer funds meant for the public good. On top of these growing financial scandals, Henyard is facing a personal crisis. She is reportedly behind on her rent for a modest $1,100 per month property, with a pending eviction and around $3,350 in back payments owed. This situation raises serious questions about her financial management, especially considering her rumored six-figure salary of around $300,000 a year. How could someone in her position fall behind on such a basic financial obligation? The situation becomes even more complex when you factor in that Henyard's associate, Kamal Woods, is also listed on the lease for the property. This has fueled further speculation about what might be happening behind the scenes. Is this a simple mistake, or is there a deeper issue at play? Henyard's lawyer has claimed that the eviction notice is based on false pretenses, but the inconsistencies and unanswered questions surrounding the case have only added to the public's suspicions. The situation becomes murkier still, with rumors circulating that Henyard may not even live at the property in question. Some insiders believe the house could be involved in illegal activity, which might explain why Henyard and Woods have reportedly refused to allow property inspections. Their refusal to comply with basic rental procedures only deepens the mystery and raises more questions than answers. As investigations into Henyard's financial dealings continue and the threat of eviction looms, the pressure on her leadership is mounting. Many Dalton residents are growing increasingly vocal about their dissatisfaction with her performance, with some even calling for her resignation. They point to her growing list of legal and financial issues as evidence that she is unfit to lead. But true to form, Henyard is not backing down. She has claimed that she is being unfairly targeted because she's a woman in power, suggesting that a boys' club is conspiring to undermine her success. While it's unclear whether her gender plays any role in the ongoing scandal, the fact remains that Henyard is under investigation by federal authorities, facing serious accusations of financial mismanagement and mired in a personal financial mess that seems to grow by the day. Despite the gravity of the situation, Henyard remains defiant, insisting that she's a victim of a smear campaign orchestrated by those who want to see her fail. With each new revelation, her credibility continues to erode, and it seems increasingly unlikely that she will be able to weather the storm. The combination of legal troubles, mounting public discontent, and a series of questionable financial decisions has placed her career in jeopardy. It remains to be seen whether Henyard can salvage her reputation, or if the scandal will ultimately mark the end of her tenure as mayor. What is certain, however, is that the people of Dalton are watching closely as the investigations unfold. Henyard's future in office looks more uncertain by the day. The situation surrounding Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dalton, Illinois, has grown increasingly complex, and public reaction is only amplifying the controversy. A quick scroll through social media or a glance at YouTube videos discussing the scandal makes one thing clear: people aren't just frustrated, they're incredulous about her actions. One commenter bluntly summed it up: "She don't pay bills, period. Unless taxpayers pay." Unfortunately for Henyard, it's hard to argue with that sentiment, given the multiple reports about her using public funds for personal expenses. Some commenters have even taken their speculation to more extreme levels, suggesting that Henyard might be intentionally letting the eviction happen to create the impression that she's too financially strapped to have misappropriated taxpayer money. I can just hear her now. "While you're out here accusing me of stealing money, why don't I have enough to pay my rent?" One user wrote, adding, "I know it's a stretch, but this is just how wretched I believe she is." While this might sound like an exaggerated take, it underscores just how far Henyard's public image has fallen. At this point, the public is willing to entertain almost any theory about her, from wild speculations to more credible accusations, and that's a major issue for a politician's reputation. The trust that once existed between Henyard and her constituents has eroded so deeply that many no longer see her as a reliable leader. When the public begins to entertain extreme theories, it reflects a fundamental breakdown in credibility. That's a serious problem for anyone in public office. Henyard's reputation has taken a massive hit, and public sentiment has undeniably shifted against her. Even if the accusations of financial mismanagement and corruption aren't entirely accurate, the fact that so many people are willing to believe almost anything about her speaks volumes. Henyard's handling of her finances, the ongoing federal investigation, and the various legal troubles surrounding her paint a picture of someone either unable or unwilling to properly manage public trust, a huge problem when you hold public office. As the public continues to view her through this lens, Henyard's ability to rebuild any semblance of credibility or political viability becomes more difficult. It's no longer just about politics, it's about a loss of personal integrity. Once that's gone, it's incredibly hard to recover from. Henyard's public reception has shifted from that of a politician with leadership potential to one filled with skepticism and distrust. And when public trust erodes this quickly, regaining it can seem nearly impossible. The question now is, what happens next? Henyard's eviction court date is set for October 22nd, and all eyes are on her to see how she will navigate this latest scandal. Will she be able to pull herself out of this mess, or is this the final nail in the coffin for her political career? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. This story is far from over. Each new development adds another layer to the already complicated web of allegations and controversies surrounding her. The situation doesn't stop at her eviction or questionable use of public funds. Behind the headlines, there are whispers of even more serious matters. The FBI is investigating Henyard's financial dealings, and allegations of corruption continue to surface. Many are speculating that something bigger could be on the horizon. Some predict more lawsuits and investigations are coming, especially as more details emerge about the mishandling of public grants and whether taxpayer dollars have been improperly allocated. If it turns out that public funds were indeed misused, Henyard could face legal consequences far beyond just being evicted from her property. The controversy surrounding Henyard has already escalated, and there's no telling how far it will go. The public is left wondering how Henyard, once seen as a promising leader for Dalton, became so entangled in scandals and legal troubles. Was it simply poor judgment, or is there something more sinister at play? The residents of Dalton who placed their trust in her are demanding answers. They need to know where their hard-earned tax dollars are going and why their mayor can't seem to keep her own finances in order. These are the questions that remain unanswered as the story continues to unfold. The pressure is mounting for Henyard to provide clarity. Is this just a series of unfortunate missteps, or has she been deliberately mismanaging funds? That's what many are eager to know. As the investigation intensifies, Henyard's fate seems more uncertain by the day. Speculation continues to grow about the true extent of her financial mismanagement, and the public is growing increasingly disillusioned with her leadership. Calls for her resignation are growing louder, with many demanding accountability and transparency. It's clear that Henyard's reputation has taken a severe hit, and with all these questions swirling around her, it's impossible to predict what the future holds. This could be the beginning of the end for her political career. The road to redemption, if there is one, will be long and difficult. Even if Henyard manages to avoid further legal consequences, the damage to her public image may be irreparable. As more developments emerge, it's hard not to wonder if this scandal will eventually force her out of office, or if she will somehow manage to weather the storm. What happens next in this unfolding drama will have far-reaching implications, not just for Henyard's future, but for Dalton itself. The investigation continues, and more allegations keep surfacing. It's clear that Henyard's grip on power is loosening, and the residents of Dalton are demanding answers. Will she rise above it all, or has she already sealed her fate? Only time will tell, but one thing is for certain. This is a story we'll be hearing more about in the days to come. What do you think? Will Henyard manage to bounce back, or is this the end of the road for her political aspirations? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this developing story. Thank you for watching.